try to get started. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Welcome to our council meeting. The date, time, and place of this meeting has been given to the media, has been posted on our building, has been posted on our website, and also the Utah Public Notice website. We'll call the meeting to order and do a roll call. First of all, Councilman Dave Labram has asked to be excused. Councilman White? Here. Councilman Baird? Here. Councilman Waite?
Here.
And Councilman Burdick also has been asked to be excused. So we'll get started with a prayer that'll be given by our city recorder, Carolyn Wilkin, and then if you'll follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father in heaven, as we come before thee in the capacity of the city council meeting, we pray that thy spirit can be here in abundance. We pray that the decisions and the discussions will be to the benefit of the citizens of the city. We're grateful for the beautiful land that we live in and the area that we live in. We pray for the safety of those who are protecting our freedoms and those who are protecting us here in the city. We pray for the safety of the city employees as they go about their responsibilities. We pray for the citizens of this area. We pray for these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next is to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Are there any questions, amendments, or discussion concerning those minutes? And I won't go through page by page, but I'm going to try to break that habit. Seeing none, would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Mayor.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilman Waite and a second by Councilman Baird. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes. Next on our agenda, we have a public comment period, and we allow the public to comment for up to 3 minutes at a time. We'd ask that you come and address the council here at the podium, state your name and your address. Are there any that would like to take advantage of that tonight? Yes, Jake. Come on up. Oh.
Trying to make it short and sweet. Get out of here. That's the only reason I'm here, actually, is for this. Jake Woodland. My address is actually in the county. I don't know if you want that.
It don't matter. Yeah. We're glad you're here.
2386 West Morrison Lane. It is a Roseville City address, however. But the company I work for and represent at times is located in Roseville City. Well, that's not what I'm representing tonight. But I'm here actually at the request of my wife to probably just make a complaint, for lack of better terms. The concern is we've had a few concerns, I know, the swimming pool and some of the things that go on there or don't go on, as the case may be. There's been some frustration with her and a group of associates that as far as allowable ages for swimming, that for 7 to 10-year-old, below 7, you have to have an adult in the water with you. From 7 to 10, you have to have someone over 16 there as well. So you can't be there alone unless you're over 10 years old. I didn't know this. She mentioned this to me last week, that she had brought down 2 14-year-olds and a 9-year-old and an 8-year-old and couldn't leave them. All good swimmers, all spend the weekends at the lake and at the pool. And so then she had to go home, get her swimming suit, come all the way back in order just to be there, to sit on the edge. And what she said to watch the lifeguards and watch my kids. Recognizing that when it's been brought up before with Mr. Crutchfield, he's like, well, the swimming pool is not a baby, it's not a daycare, which I can understand that. And if I was dumping off 6 7-year-olds or 6 8-year-olds at one time, that would be understandable, but this is a family group, friends. Anyway, as I mentioned that, I recall so trying to find a possible solution. Growing up, the pool that I attended, where I grew up, there was a minimum age. I don't remember, it was at 6 or 8 years old that you had to have someone there with you. But between that age and probably 10 or 12, the pool issued a swim card that you had to pass the minimum test. If you could pass that minimum test, then you could come in, and they would come in, a group of kids would show up, and they'd say, okay, your parents here, who's a 16-year-old? And they're like, well, no one, okay, these swim cards. And you had to show them, there was a little blue laminated card certifying that you had passed the swim test conducted by the pool, so that you weren't a safety risk or a liability to the city. I thought there's an easy solution. Like I said, I have a daughter that's 8 years old. We'll go to the lake, I'll throw her off the boat, and she's on her own, right? And so I don't have any issues with her at the pool, especially when she's there with siblings, neighborhood kids. I was hoping Councilman Latham was here tonight. I know when the pool was built and there was so much testimony going back to the board, he had made a comment that was reported in the newspaper that he was excited to have the outside pool and boat because he remembers as a child riding his bike to the pool. I wanted to say, I hope you were over 10 or 12, otherwise you wouldn't get in today, right? So I think it's something that maybe ought to be looked at. I think there's possible solutions, and it might even increase the participation and revenue in swim lessons if they know that they can come to swim lessons, pass the test, receive a card, and then during the summertime, mom doesn't have to waste all day watching one of the kids who just happens to be less than 9 years old or 10 years old, when everyone else can be there. So.
Right.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you, Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
Just for a follow-up, just so you know, we take these comments and then we do follow up with them. We don't usually have time to discuss them.
Yep.
One of the things that I do want to quickly make you aware of is that we do have an Arts, Parks, and Rec committee that has just been formed,
Yep.
where some of these ideas can be discussed and vetted out a little bit, and then those recommendations will come before the council for approval. And so that'll be up and running next month in August, and that'll be on our agenda. And we'll probably have you come back or your wife come back and share some thoughts. So, thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, we'll move on. We did have a public hearing, scheduled. In speaking with and looking at our code, this actual item has come before the Planning and Zoning Commission already and been approved. And as it states in our code, the Planning and Zoning, if they approve that, it's a done deal. So we found that out, and we spoke with our city attorney today, and he said it would be best if we got a hold of Darren and just let him know that that's been approved through Planning and Zoning. There wouldn't be any further requirement to come before the council. And just to make note, the council is utilized in conditional use permits as an appeal committee and not necessarily as an approval committee. And so once the Planning and Zoning approves that, that's a done deal. And then if there is an appeal, then that party can come and appeal to the city council. And we found out a lot more about our ordinances in that as well. So, but if you're here for that, I apologize. But that has been already taken care of. So, any thoughts on that?
We have let you know that.
Okay, perfect. And I'm guessing that's why he's not there. Okay. We have Dennis Lyon with us tonight. And Dennis, would you come up and tell us who you're with and why you're here? And made that beautiful drive to Roosevelt, Utah.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for having me. I appreciate it greatly. My name is Dennis Lyon. I'm with the National League of Cities Service Line Program. There's some information I hand out as well. We are the only service line program that is endorsed by both the National League of Cities, and we're also partnered with the Utah League of Cities and Towns, as well as 16 other state leagues. And I'm here because I had an initial meeting on our program with City Manager Snow regarding how it is we partner with communities in order to make our program available. So basically, the reason I'm here is to kind of go through the specifics of what it is that we do, how we do it, how we benefit a community, and how we can benefit homeowners in the community, all at no cost to the city. So what I'm going to be going through, there's a PowerPoint in those folders that if you'd like to follow along, or of course it's going to be on the screen as well, which is very nice. Thank you so much for getting that up there. Excuse me. So I work for a company called Utility Service Partners, and we're actually the administrators of this program. So I think it's important to know a little bit about us. So as far as experience and reputation, we've been providing this service for 16 years. We have had the National League of Cities endorsement since 2010. I believe we've had our partnership with the Utah League of Cities and Towns for, I think, 6 months now. It's fairly recent. It might be a little older than that, but it's not. I know it's not quite a year. Excuse me. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Customer satisfaction, we have maintained a satisfaction rating of 95% or higher for the last 11 consecutive years. Also, we have twice been awarded from the Western Pennsylvania Better Business Bureau something that they call the Torch Award for marketplace ethics, which is something that we're very proud of, because the whole idea behind our program is to be completely transparent and ethical in the communities where it's available. So in 2013 and 2018, the Western Pennsylvania Better Business Bureau said, "You guys are doing this right. Here's an award." So we're really proud of that, because we know that we're accomplishing that goal. As for partnership, we are the only service line program that will partner with the community in order to make it available. So what I'm going to do is go through the steps of why we do that and how it all ties together and benefits everyone involved. On the next slide, we conduct a Harris poll as a company just to kind of take tabs on, people's finances and emergency preparedness and so on. You can read through that at your leisure. But the one that I like to point out is that bottom one that I have bolded that says 80% of respondents to our survey, and my battery is running low, so I'm going to be looking up there. 80% of respondents either strongly or somewhat agree with the statement that local community governments should at least be responsible for educating homeowners about their lateral line responsibilities, meaning the portion of lines that they're responsible for and have to pay for if there's an issue. Interestingly enough, in December of 2017, Utah passed State Bill 45, which requires that homeowners be proactively educated twice a year by mail as to what their lateral line responsibilities are as well. So I'm going to explain how our program can actually do that for you. Excuse me. The next slide, please. So program benefits. Basically what our program does is it helps address the public policy issues surrounding aging underground utility infrastructure. So every community in the United States upgrades and maintains the public side, but it's the private side, those private lines, that are forgotten in that process and kind of left behind. So that's where the National League of Cities got involved. So they had heard about these types of programs, and they wanted to find one like ours that they could put their name on and make available to cities all across the United States. They really did the research and the vetting, and we're the company they chose to provide that service. Now, you don't have to be a member of the National League of Cities to participate. It's open to every community. There's absolutely no cost to the city to participate. And it's provided on a turnkey approach. So what I mean by that is we handle the marketing, the billing, the claims, and the customer service. So you're not doing any of that administrative work. You're not collecting any money for us or anything like that at all. We provide it and we run it. There's also a component of our program that provides an ongoing revenue stream for the city, and I'll explain how that ties into the homeowner benefits.
I was just curious. So if we implement something like this, or we partner with you to do this, it's not something that everyone in the city has to participate in. They can choose to or not to?
Correct. It's completely voluntary. And that's part of what I'll be getting into is how that all works as well. Excuse me. So as I mentioned, there's that ongoing revenue stream. So at a bare minimum, what I like to say our program functions as is a free public awareness campaign for your city, which is really what State Bill 45 targets as well. So what we do is we send out a letter that proactively educates homeowners as to what their lateral line responsibilities are, because most homeowners don't find out that they're responsible for those lines until they have an issue with them and they call the city and then they find out that, no, it's on your property, it's your responsibility. And then that letter explains to them that the city has partnered with us to make this completely voluntary program available for them. So the nice thing about it is even homeowners who choose not to participate have still been proactively educated as to what their responsibility is. So at a bare minimum, it's going to reduce the number of calls that you receive from homeowners. You don't then have the expense of sending somebody to the house to determine where that issue is and then deliver that bad news when it turns out that it's on the private side. Because I know that's not a pleasant conversation to have with a homeowner, and I can understand why. So as I said, that letter educates those homeowners about their responsibilities, and then the ones who choose to participate, they get the peace of mind of knowing that they have completely transferred the risk of those lines over to us. So when they have any type of an issue at all, they give us a call. It's a toll-free phone number. When they call us, they're going to be reaching one of our 2 call centers. Both are here in the United States. One is in a town called Canonsburg, that's just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's the office I work out of. And the other is in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Those call centers are staffed 24 hours a day, every day of the year, including holidays, with actual live people. So when you call, you actually get to speak with someone. And what we do then is we dispatch a local licensed contractor to handle the repair for those homeowners. Another benefit of our program for the community is the fact that we use those local licensed contractors. So what that does is a couple of things. One, we pay the contractors directly for the services that they perform. So the homeowner's not paying that contractor. So we're infusing money into your local economy that wasn't there before when we're paying those contractors. The other thing is local contractors obviously are going to know the codes and what permits they need and so on. So now everything is done up to your standards, and as our contractors like to say, done right the first time. Contractors undergo a very rigorous vetting process, so this is something that we take very seriously. So whether a city provides us with a name of a couple of contractors that they know are reputable and say, hey, reach out to these companies, or we reach out to them on our own, we make sure that they're licensed, bonded, insured, have all of the necessary equipment to make the repairs. That they have the, I missed something, licensed, bonded, insured. No open complaints with the Better Business Bureau is something else that we also check. And then we even go a step further and we administer background checks and drug screens on all the individuals that work for those companies. The reason we do this is threefold. We want homeowners as well as city officials to be comfortable with who's coming to make those repairs. And as a business, as a company, we have a reputation at stake with all of the endorsements that we have and for how long we've been doing this and our customer satisfaction rating and so on. We have an entire business model riding on these folks being reputable as well. And even though they're contracting with us, they're the ones who are on site. So they're still the face of our company, even though they're not employed directly by us. Those contractors don't pay us to join our network, and we don't dictate to them what they can charge for their services either. So I'm going to go over what the benefits are for homeowners and how that works so you can get an idea of what that does for folks who decide to participate. So I'll cover the sewer and the water line at the same time because they're set up very similarly. So this is, coverage for broken, cracked, leaking pipes, tree root penetration, thawing of frozen external water lines, or even just a clog that would need to be cleared out. That's something that's covered. And that coverage is from the point of the utility connection to where the line enters the home. And I believe here it is, I don't have my cheaters on, from the curb box or the meter / curb stop to where the line enters home for water, and for sewer, it's from the main to where the line enters home. So we cover all that. What we provide for that homeowner is up to $8,500 per occurrence, and that does include public street and public sidewalk cutting if it's necessary. Now, I like to point out per occurrence. What that means is every single time that homeowner has an issue, up to $8,500 is available to address that issue. We provide unlimited service calls. And on top of that, with those unlimited service calls, there is not a service fee that homeowner pays. So every time we dispatch that contractor, we absorb that cost. The homeowner is not paying that. We also provide unlimited annual and lifetime benefits, so we don't put a cap on coverage amounts. It's just the $8,500 per occurrence. And there's no deductible that the homeowner has to meet either when they participate in the coverage. So that first dollar coverage. We don't do long-term contracts with homeowners. Everything's on a month-to-month basis, so they can opt out at any time they would like without penalty. So nobody gets locked into anything long-term that they no longer want to be a part of. We don't do a pre-inspection before the coverage begins either. When somebody enrolls in our coverage after a 30-day waiting period, that coverage begins for them. And as I said, 24/7, 365 availability. And since we work with contractors directly, homeowners aren't filling out forms or paperwork or anything like that when they make claims. Next, please. And then the third product that we offer is this in-home plumbing coverage. So this covers all water, sewer, and drain lines that are inside the home after that point of entry, including lines that are under the basement floor or embedded in the concrete slab as well. So this provides up to $3,000 worth of coverage per occurrence. And again, it's set up the same way. It's a per occurrence. Unlimited service calls, unlimited annual lifetime benefits, no service fees, no deductibles, no long-term contract, no pre-inspection, et cetera. And this covers, broken, cracked, or leaking lines, as well as even clogged toilets, which I understand is a very popular service. It gets used quite often. Excuse me. So again, everything is set up the same there. And the reason we set our coverage up this way with no service fees and deductibles and unlimited service calls and so on is we don't want those types of things to be a deterrent from homeowners calling to have their issues taken care of quickly. So what we found is that homeowners that participate in the protections that we provide are much more proactive, which is good for everybody. And especially looking at it from a city standpoint, some of those problems that start off on the private side eventually make their way to the public side, and then that's where conversations can get interesting as to who has to pay for what. Next slide, please. I had mentioned the incremental revenue stream. So the way that works is the city would receive 50 cents per month per each one of those paid warranty agreements. That accrues throughout the year, and we pay that out in the form of a royalty each January. That is your revenue to use for any type of city initiatives that you would like. So just some examples of what current partners have done with this. Low-income utility assistance programs, offset the cost of a water bill when someone has a leak. Orem Utah used to donate it to a local charity every year. They also recently used funds from our program to put towards an All Abilities playground that they built in their community. You can use it towards your NLC or your Utah League of Cities and Towns dues, really wherever you see fit to use that. You also have the option to decline that revenue. If you decline that revenue, we don't keep that money. We pass that savings directly on to the homeowner. So each one of those products is 50 cents less per month, for the homeowners. Next, please. As for our marketing approach, we only market by direct mail, so I would like to make sure you know that should you decide to partner with us and make our program available, you're not unleashing door-to-door salespeople or telemarketers on your community. We don't operate in that manner. Also, we don't overwhelm people with direct mail because we limit to 3 mailing campaigns per year. I also like to stress that part of this partnership is we never mail to homeowners without your review, the city review and approval of that marketing material before it's ever sent. So before each and every one of those campaigns, we send you that letter so that you can have input on what's in that letter. You also then, once you've approved it, you not only know what's in it, but then we tell you when it's going to mail, so you know when it's going to be received by residents of the community as well. And that marketing information, or that marketing letter, educates the homeowner what their responsibility is, explains to them that the program is entirely voluntary for them, that all of the products are completely separate. They can enroll in any manner that they choose. They can go to our website, they can fill out the form that comes with the letter, they can call us, whatever works best for them. And it also very clearly states to them that the city is not providing this program. We are, and contact us with any questions that you have about the program. So what the city's role is in the partnership is we ask for the use of the city logo and just a generic signature from the city on that marketing material. We do that for a couple of reasons. One is it creates an economy of scale that allows us to offer the best possible benefits at the lowest rates that we can. Two, when the National League of Cities decided to not only endorse our program, but allow us to use their name, This was the reason they did so, because they like the transparency that comes with us having a partnership with the city and being able to offer the benefits that we can offer by doing it in this manner. So again, everything is completely transparent and above board with that partnership. Next slide, please. Currently, actually, this needs to be updated because now it's over 650 municipal partners in 41 states. My apologies. And then the next slide should be Utah. So Clearfield, Orem, Kaysville, Salt Lake City, Payson, and I know I'm going to say it wrong, Tooele. Did I say it right?
Yep.
Tooele City. They told me you only say it right if you live there or you've been there. And I've been there, but I still worry about saying it sometimes. So at any rate, so these are the 6 partners that we have participating in Utah currently. And then next slide. So program success and notes, kind of some oddball stuff that I like to include. One thing I would point out is your endorsement of our program does not equal exclusivity. What that means is if there's anyone else in this area that offers a similar type service, we don't ask that you keep them out of your community, and we're the only game in town. So homeowners still have their choice of who it is they would like to work with. Currently serving over 3.7 million customers. That next line has changed. I don't remember how many jobs we've completed now over the last 3 years, but I know that we are now averaging 1 job every 49 seconds. So, you know, we've got a large network of contractors that's out there getting it done on a regular basis. We've saved customers over 450 more million in repair costs over the last 3 years. I mentioned our 97% claim, that was in our conversation. 97% claim approval. So unlike other warranty or insurance companies that are typically looking for reasons to deny claims, we're looking for reasons to approve the claim to be able to help the homeowner. 99.6% claim satisfaction rating, which I think is outstanding. What that means is after the job is completed, 99.6% of the time, that customer is satisfied with what we've done for them. That other 0.4% of the time, we're making it right. It's just a kind of survey. Currently over 1,400 contractors in our network. 9 of every 10 customers surveyed have recommended our program to family, friends, neighbors, what have you, because they're happy with what it is that we've done for them. Next, I would say if there are any questions or anything, but one thing I would like to point out that I discussed with Mr. Snell is I understand you did a bit of proactive surveying of the community to see what type of interest level that there might be. And I want to commend you for that because a lot of communities don't do that. And I think it's good that you reach out to your residents and said, you know, what are your thoughts on something like this? Because it shows that you really care what it is they think, and I think that's important.
As part of our master plan, to remind that, as part of our master plan, the question was, all sewer laterals extending from the city of Maine to a residence are the property and responsibility of the homeowner. Would you support paying a fee to a third party to provide insurance for these lines? We had 214 respondents, and of that, 63% said they would pay something. They would pay something for that. It varied in amount, so you will sell the product as theirs. But we asked the question with our master plan just to kind of understand. Before we waste the time of bringing somebody and said, if the public isn't interested, you know, we weren't interested. But that was one thing we've done in advance. So, you know, trying to give you an idea.
Thank you. Quick question. So is it a flat rate for every resident, no matter what? It's just a fee for each service that you provide?
Correct. So in your packet is the term sheet,
Okay.
but there's 2 different pricing structures because I mentioned it depends on whether or not you would participate in the royalty. So if you were to participate in the royalty, the water coverage is only $5.75 a month. The sewer is only $7.75, and the in-home plumbing is $9.99. If you forego that royalty, each of those would increase by 50 cents. So the strategy behind our pricing structure is so that individuals who are the most vulnerable, meaning the least financially able to take care of what could be a several $1,000 water or sewer line repair, can participate for pretty low costs. I mean, you skip 1 or 2 large lattes a month, and you know, you can provide coverage for the water and sewer line.
So Dennis, do you have some statistics on resident meters in any community that partners with you? Let's say Twilla, Salt Lake, Kearns, whoever. On a per meter basis, how many residents, do you have the information on how many would actually typically sign up? Was it 50%, 30, 80?
That is a figure that, and we were just having that conversation as well. That is a figure that there are variables depending on, you know, climate, geography, age of infrastructure, et cetera. So as a company, since we deal on a nationwide basis or a North American basis, I should say, the number that we're comfortable saying is about a 15 to 20% participation. There are a handful of other companies that will solicit into communities without a city partnership, and they generally get about a 1 to 2% participation. So there's a substantially higher participation by making something available in a partnership with a community.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We have a few residents here. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, if you have any.
You said it's a month-to-month, no contract. Do you do automatic billing? Because I don't want to write you a check every month.
Yeah, actually, that's the preferred method because it's easier also when you cancel to be able to refund any unused premium if it's like a partial month. That it's much easier to do that electronically than us have to cut you a check in reverse.
I just
What about the residents that have septic, because the septic's on their own bill, right? So would they be excluded from the program?
Our coverage, and that's a good question. So our coverage also provides for well and septic. When it comes to well and septic though, again, keep in mind that this is for the lines. So on septic, for example, will cover the line, but it's not going to cover a pump or a tank, those types of things. But that line that runs between the house and the septic tank is something that would be covered.
Good question. How does the public feel about keeping the 50 cents in the price and using that as the city for other projects or water sewer projects, or saying, nah?
So
Yeah.
we've got about 2,000 households in our city, right, roughly?
So,
We have about 2,000 households in our city, roughly.
yeah, 2,000 to 3,000.
So that if we had all 2,000 contracts, that would be $1,000
A month.
a month. Okay.
It's, 50 cents per agreement. So, and there's 3
Okay,
products. So
like about
technically there could be
12,000
3 per
bucks
household.
year If
But I would say if you
Baldwin
base
did it.
But I would say if you base that on an average of about 1.5 products per household is what we tend to see.
Oh, I see.
And then if you would look at it as about a 20% at a maximum, probably of those 2,000 households, you can probably get a closer.
So you're looking at
Figure
400
what
times
it's-
70, so you're looking at about $2,800 some dollars a year. Or
Or 200 plus.
200 and then times that by 12. Yeah, so you're looking, it'd be about 3,500, 4,000, something like that.
I'm curious to know what they think, if we should put it back in their pocket or
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
use
miss
it as a
50
revenue
cents.
source.
I'm fine with it being part of the city funds.
I think it'd be great if it was well publicized as to what is gonna be done with it and something that would definitely benefit.
I think that's something that we could probably decide before, as we make a decision or as we look at what to do with that. That might be something before we start advertising to the public, what we'd use that money for. So the transparency would come through the city as well, as far as if you pay 50 cents a month, this is where that money will go and this is how it'll benefit the city. I think that would be a kind of earmark it for certain things. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, your market, there's a small amount, in respective to water and sewer projects, but it could be a significant thing for other things.
Revitalization downtown or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Some racks,
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So,
Like a splash pad, just saying. Water.
Hey, we have Old Mill Park. That'd be a perfect spot. No.
So this would be, you probably went over this, but I'm kind of cloudy in the head today.
Sorry.
So this, she talked about, well, she asked you a question related, but this would be billed separately from the city's? Okay.
Correct, we handle that.
Okay.
Yeah, we would never ask you to put us on utility bill or collect any funds for us or any of those types of things.
All right, just clarifying things.
So I'm guessing what we'd need is basically a motion to approve moving forward and gathering, the information that you would get out to the customers, to the city residents, and then approving that and at a later date, but moving forward with the company. So any thoughts or motions?
I feel it's a good service. I think we should motion to approve the service, make it available to our community. So,
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second that.
We have a second. Any further discussion?
Second.
Sorry. Motion by Councilman Baird and second by Councilman White, sorry. And discussion, you had a comment.
I just had another question. Do you, like, my house was built in like 1941, so for me, $20 of insurance is a screaming deal. Like, we had a clogged toilet last month. Oh, this isn't being televised, it is.
Uh-huh.
And we spent $20 more, more than $20 on a new plunger because the old one broke. But, how many homes are older? Like, I know the neighbor across the street had to do it, and it was almost 10 grand to cut into the street and things like that. So that would be a significant savings, but how many of the homes are maybe what you would consider having older?
Higher risk.
Thank you, that's a very nice way to say it.
To answer your question, we don't do a free inspection, so
Right,
each of a
no, I
home
was
is
just
not-
wondering, because if I just built a brand new home
Oh.
and I have all new fixtures and everything, I'm not really as concerned about it as somebody whose home was built in 1950.
I can't remember, I know I have the
The
information.
demographic of the homes, but
But I can't remember median year home built in Roosevelt off the top of my head, but I can find it. I mean, I thought it was in the, somewhere in the.
We had a fairly large boom in the 70s, and I think Wardsburg was still used up till, remember the year?
The first part of the seventies,
So,
plastic
At
first
that
coming
point,
around seventy.
anything above that boom, and that was a very large boom that we had. Earlier than that, probably had some. I know that I've replaced one, as we were talking, I had replaced one just in the last couple of years that cost me $500. So if I'd been on, and I've been having problems ongoing, and if I'd been on, this would cover my whole bill instead of having to, take that pretty big chunk. And so, good idea. The public was a little cost conscious, but I think his education, so 50 cents one way or the other, I don't think, from the staff side, I don't think it mattered.
right. Well, I would say then, it sounds like the motion to move forward would probably include that 50 cents. I'd like to see how we treat that money in the future. We do have a motion, we do have a second. If there's no further discussion, we'll go for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes, so we'll be working with you in the future.
Very good, excellent. I will be in touch. I will get you an upgraded copy of your marketing agreement, so you can provide that to the city attorney.
Okay.
And we'll proceed personally from there. Excellent. Thank you so much for having me. I
Dennis.
appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thanks for
Dennis.
coming. Appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you as well. Have a great evening.
You too. And drive safe.
I'll do. Thank you.
Master site plan approval, Mad Sports and Fitness. Hey, you said you were gonna keep me in line. You didn't say you were gonna, no, I'm just kidding. Come on up.
You're putting me on the hot spot. I'm gonna pull us up a plan, but,
Tell us your name.
oh,
for the
Tyra
record.
Killian.
Thank you.
I don't do these legit formal meetings, come on. So we're planning on, my wife and I want to put in a little fitness center. Everybody through work, community are always saying that we need some kind of little facility. So we want to construct a 100 by 100 building that's specializing in, there's racquetballs, CrossFits. Just your typical workout gym with a 30 by 90 foot frontage on the building that's offering for services of trainings, classes. We want to kind of implement and help, just with our medical knowledge, we just want to kind of help with promoting better health services in a setting away from your typical hospital setting. So like a nutrition class or something that people maybe they feel like that it's more downbeat, down to earth. Because in medicine, they kind of might feel that they might have a judgment. So we just want to kind of offer some of these few services with a few services that is to a couple of machines that are to help with muscle relaxation with weight loss actually, and it helps with chronic pain because our community has a huge problem with chronic pain issues. So that's our plan. We own a lot by 500 East, 100 South, just off the hill there by the trailer park.
How is that zone, Dean?
It's commercial.
Commercial zone?
So we just wanted to put it there on the south side of it'll be against the fence as property to the trailer park, so closest to the trailer park. All utilities are there.
It'd be a nice.
Which side of the road on 500 East? Is it on the east or west side?
It's the west side.
West side. Is it close to the?
I
It's
bet
right
that-
down below the
Under
food
you
bank.
bag.
Yeah, it'll be
Okay,
right
so
off
they're
the
down
hill.
below there.
I live on that road. I wouldn't be very far away. So.
They're putting the building more towards the mobile home park because the utilities, it's more sewer, is more accessible there. There's kind of a grade issue on that. They're actually gonna go up and connect into the sewer coming down off the hill from Horace. So proximity there, and that gives them plenty of parking. They've got more than parking as far as required by the occupancy law, at least in their design. And that, they've got the sewer, sidewalk and curb designed in here also.
Planning and zoning approved, I assume.
Approved. And didn't have any
Didn't have any issues.
Personally, I feel like it's a really good thing and an asset in that area of town.
Well, it will obscure the city from the trailer park.
Well, the thing of it is, anytime you invest and upgrade in an area, it kind of spurs a little ambition and motivation for others to do the same. And so
Right.
I think that's a good thing.
There's not gonna be any green landscaping. We might mainly just wanna do a xeriscape with trees and bushes, so we don't have maintenance of grass, so just so you know, but
Well, our water bill's not, we're not gonna make any money on the
with
water.
all of the services closing, I think it would be a great asset to the city and the community. We wanna focus more on maybe a 14 plus age category, just so that you can have your preteens use your facility, but we don't want it to be a babysit place for anyone to come, because we want people to come in, be able to do their thing and leave, so.
Any other questions from the council?
Thank you.
Yeah.
For being willing to invest. It's wonderful.
Seeing no questions, would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion by Councilman White and second by Councilman Waite. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. Appreciate you coming.
Yep.
Jonathan Meeks. It's your turn.
So I'm just coming
forward.
to give them a history on this real quick like I did.
Yes, please. Mr. Johnson, take it away.
Yes.
Chris Buxton, and the Buxtons own this property. It's kind of a utility easement up there. I don't remember just exact, maybe you can give me your address.
671 Arriva Road.
And that, Chris started this process there last fall. He had the vellum delivered and this and that, and then, as you know, he passed away before he finished this project. And this gentleman come in to talk to me, and as he did, it's Jason.
Jonathan.
Jonathan, sorry, I'm tired.
No, you're fine.
Just keep saying
Me
this.
too.
But anyway, he came to talk to me about this part. I said, well, Chris has started this process, so I got in with Greg because I got this developed to Greg to do this. So
And we're
it's
talking
actually
lot
taken-
3A?
Yeah,
I know exactly where that's at.
yeah, we're just straightening out lot 38A with 3A Buckskin lot.
Right, and it's been a piece of property that nobody's made it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right here. So at the moment, my lot follows this easement line straight across. And there's just kind of a jumble right here. It's a little bit of confusion. So we're kicking this line out right here. Kind of
So you
pulling out the back
purchased-
end of the lot a little bit. Jeremy Ross lived there
Yep.
before I did.
So I live next door to him.
Okay,
Yeah, where Heron is.
okay.
So I know.
So
So
the
that'll
one,
actually add a little bit to that lot because I almost purchased that 38A a while back. And
Okay.
you're right, it was the straight line with the easement.
Yep.
It was, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and that is mine at the moment. We're just straightening out. It's about double the size of that backyard.
Yeah, that was my complaint there as well. It was-
And he's aware that there's a need there.
Yeah, well,
And he's actually talked to Kirby and the utility. department.
that's a water line if I
It's a water-
believe,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. There's asphalt back there too when I went to put fence posts down.
Really?
That's an old
But anyway,
road.
it's just to straighten out and to add this to his property.
Gotcha. Any other, sorry, I
No, you're
I just
fine.
know the area, but any other
No.
questions or for Jonathan?
a motion to approve, Mayor, if you're ready for motion.
Sure. So we have a motion to approve by Councilman Waite and a second by Councilman Baird. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Jonathan, for being here. And
Just needs a signature.
let's take care of that.
Jonathan, are you Joe's brother?
Little brother, yes.
Little brother.
I'm the youngest.
He's my neighbor. He's sure a good guy.
He's not bad. In small doses.
In small doses, huh?
When he's sleeping?
We just won't share that with him. How's that?
It's about the only part of Phil that's small. But
You'll fill out the rest and I'll just put my name. Yeah, I really like that area up there.
yeah, it's beautiful. Fantastic neighborhood. We love being up there. Do you guys hang on to this or am I taking it with me?
You take it with you and
And then go get it
take it
recorded.
to the Carter account.
Okay, perfect.
I almost bought lot 3A so that I'd have a bigger backyard.
Yeah.
And I realized that was too big of a backyard.
We've talked about the same thing, thought about whether we could put a shop back there or what we could do with that. Just don't know that we could make it work, but it's a nice dream.
Don't mention shop.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Thank you. So we have UBTech security agreement. We have Councilman Waite here. Do we have anybody, you want to take that
I
one?
can talk about it, the chief can add in. At this point, similar to our hospital security agreement, and that was kind of the, where some of it drafted from. But we have been servicing the UV Tech for the past several years. I don't know when.
20 plus probably.
Yeah, but it's 10,000, I think it is. And it just kind of part-time as we can, as we're at the high school. So this was, they approached us, said, hey, we'd like to have full-time coverage throughout the school day. And so that does this is $90,000 full-time officer during the school year. That officer would then during summer be utilized elsewhere. But that is what it is. It has been reviewed by our legal, their legal, and so anyway, I think it's a good agreement. And Chief, you can talk about
Yeah,
it.
do you have anything to add to that?
I think it'll be a plus for us. We have an SRO down at the high school and we'll have, his time won't be split to go to the VC so much, it don't take as much. He can concentrate on when he leaves to go to the elementaries and the junior high. We've noticed a real increase in incidents at the junior high the last couple of years. So that will free him up to do that, and I think it's a plus for everybody.
Great.
It pays its own way, so it's a plus.
Perfect. Yeah, now will we be adding anyone to this force?
Not right now, however, we were approved for one extra this year,
Okay,
so.
This will help with that.
Status quo, and we can do that right now.
great. Any other questions?
I would share, Mayor, with the council and disclose, obviously my conflict of interest there as the president of the college. But I think it's important for the council to understand this is a one-year contract. The anticipation would be that we would continue in perpetuity as funding is available. But that is funding right now that we've identified as a one-year contract.
That's good to know, so we don't go out and hire somebody and then need to let them go in a year. So. Well, this will be a good test run. Any other thoughts or comments? Seeing none, would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Baird and a second by Councilman White. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. And I have to say, I don't know that we've done anything different with the microphones, but I'm telling you, you can really hear much better
On online.
on the online. Yeah.
So we did change the setting inside of it, so it records at a higher volume.
That's great, because it works well.
We are working to
I don't know
try
why
to
I
improve
mentioned that, but because I was talking kind of low and I thought nobody can hear me, and I thought, yeah, they can now. So that's nice. I know we talked about upgrading that equipment to make that happen, but I don't think we need to now. So purchase orders and quarterly, just purchase orders tonight. I saw those go past.
We have the election judges, so we have.
I'm looking at the old. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, thank you.
We had two, we advertised out, we had two, Andrea Harper and Ruth Ann Green were the two responses. And so we recommend those for your approval to allow them to help us in the election process.
I know Ruth Ann has done it in the past,
Ruth Ann did it last time.
so she knows. And any questions or concerns with who's been presented?
Each candidate's welcome to have a witness there as well, right?
Observers, yes.
Yeah.
These are workers.
Yeah.
Poll watchers.
Yeah. Any other questions? Seeing none, would entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Waite and a second by Councilman White. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Oh, not very far away. A little less than a month now before the primary. All right, now we'll entertain the purchase orders. Did anybody have any questions, comments on the purchase orders? Seeing none, would entertain a motion? To approve. Okay.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman White and a second by Councilman Baird. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Reports from standing committees. You have anything to report tonight, Dustin or Councilman White? Okay, Councilman Baird. Just waiting for just the elevations of the gun range. As soon as you.
He's taken it, the first time he took it, there was a problem as he went, and had the land, without finishing. But he's been able to get it so, as a patchwork, so he's been able to go one way and then go the other. I think it'll give us some really good elevation. We're really excited what it'll give us, but I haven't got the date yet.
No problem. And you said you'd send it to the committee.
I will send it.
And
to
so
the
that'll be
committee as
good. We'll
soon as
get
I
working on that as soon as we get it. And
Yep.
government's so slow, but when you're considering spending the taxpayers' money, it's good to have all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted. And hopefully won't have to spend much of the taxpayers' money on that one. So good deal. And then I just had the Arts, Parks, and Rec Committee. I've got really good response so far. I feel like we're a little bit weighted in the arts area, which is strange. I thought we'd be more heavily weighted in the sports area. But anyway, so we opened it back up for another 2 weeks to see if we can get more. We want a really well-rounded committee. So that's moving ahead, and we'll probably bring those appointments, suggestions before the council at the next meeting. So,
Mayor,
yes.
So I've thought about that a little bit, what we requested them to send a resume. Is that really necessary to have a resume? Because
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Really,
I just feel like
and
names are really what we're looking for, and then maybe references and
for me, the reason the resume
then
and
a personal interview.
and the people, I've had some response. So people have responded and said, okay, what exactly do you need? The reason for it doesn't have to be a resume, and maybe, I don't know how we put it out there, or a letter stating your interests and your qualifications. Really what it is we want, because instead of just a name, we want to be able to identify, okay, is this person interested in sports, or is this person interested in music, or is this person interested in trails, and so that we can look at those and then choose from that pool and say, well, we want several that would focus on this and several that would focus on this. So we have kind of a well-rounded group instead of having it all one side. And it's hard to tell without having some type of information.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think probably the limiting factor though is that people don't always have an updated resume. And
Sure. And all
the time to put one together,
Yeah.
especially where it's specific.
If we can kind of make that mention, it doesn't have to be a resume, but a letter of qualifications or a letter of just your interests. Yeah,
Sure.
That would help me. And I have visited with a few, and that's all I've gotten from some. It doesn't have to be a resume. It just has to show, because usually resume has your hobbies and your interests and a few of those things on it. So a lot of people do have those, and it's easy to just send off. But if they don't, we'd still take just a letter, describing your interests and, those types of things.
I was just
That's a good
mentioning that
thought.
because I think that's probably the reason we haven't had a whole lot right up front, or maybe we have.
I've had a lot.
You've had a lot of
I think
resumes
it's
sent.
just,
Okay, I don't know, maybe not. We extended it for
we
a couple
have
weeks, so I
enough.
figured there was maybe
No,
lack of interest there.
we've had really good interest, really good interest.
I suspect from the meetings that we've had that the sports side kind of have their programs going and they've got the people running them. The arts, parks and rec,
Don't
people are
have it.
worried about, there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
So that's why we're getting that.
And I think so too. And those people are busy with their sports programs. And so I don't know, since we've extended it, I've had several others come in. And so it's good. It's just wanted to give it a little more time to give people a chance to respond. But you're absolutely right. And maybe we can change something on the
We can note
Facebook
that.
page that just says,
Our default's a resume, it's just kind of the default for a council or a board position like planning, zoning, or some of those, so it's kind of just the default, but yeah,
yeah, that's fine.
it's a good point.
Good thought. Anything else on that? No. Okay. That's all I had. Do you have anything for us, Councilman White?
Yeah, just two things. I think the Red Mud Run was a wonderful success. What I saw there on the 4th of July. I would recommend, if we haven't in the past, I think we have in the past, but recommend again, anytime I think we have the public involved with businesses and folks, volunteering and donating, that we just send them a nice letter of thanks for their contribution to that day, and it makes it kind of special. Also, for UBIC committee, the president, Chad Mortensen, has reached out to me, and I believe he's had some conversation with Dustin about some of the electrical needs at Constitution Park. It sounds like Dustin had been working with him to rectify some breakers and outlets. But I would suggest to the council perhaps that we look at strengthening those in the future. Sounds like that infrastructure may just kind of be getting to the end of its usable lifespan, and it may be time to expand the capability. Yeah,
That's interesting because almost exactly 5 years ago, we had the same conversation in council meeting, and I'm wondering if we did something then or not.
I've noticed it.
Well, then we need to, because I remember, thank you for bringing that up. We need to get that done. I remember adding extra outlets and a few other things so that you don't have so many things running on, one circuit and a few things, especially with all the trailers that need to plug in there. That was the conversation that was had that long ago. So good thought.
and it may be also, as you visit with them, maybe we might want to explore adding some additional adjacent to the parking lot on the east side or something, because I think, as UBIC expands and the vendors grow, that becomes a it's just, it's compounding the trouble. So we just need to be looking down the road and saying, okay, what does this look like 10 years from now?
I've
15
seen
years
bounce
from now.
houses and all sorts of things on that east side. And I'm not sure how they're getting power there, but it would be convenient to have some outlets and things right there. That's
We
good.
will look at the infrastructure and see what we can get done.
Fantastic. Thank you. That's all I have, Mayor, for
Thank you.
tonight.
Report from our city manager.
We are preparing a SOS RFP for the garbage collection. So we're working on that. We're taking this with a few and had that expires at the end of, our contract expires at the end of this year. So we'd like to send that out, get qualifications back, get some of those things, and some of those items where it will be a little different is being able to have them propose not just on total, but if they want to propose on recycling or they want to propose on different parts of the contract, that we would entertain proposals. If somebody wants to propose just on recycling, that they could do so, or if they want to propose an entire thing, they could. So it's just coming that time, and so we'll go through that, and then we'll bring some of those to the council.
Currently, K&K supplies garbage pickup. And it seems like we had somebody trying to push getting recycling or something, and it seemed that the contract we have with K&K, there was an issue there, whether they were supposed to supply everything.
We're
So
hoping that
how
this would avoid that. So somebody can come along and say, if K&K said, you know what, we do garbage service, we don't do recycling. They could propose have a garbage service. But then somebody else could come along and say, oh, hey, I'm interested in recycling.
So when they fill out the form to bid for the city, they would say which services they're willing to provide.
Yeah.
And if one says they want to do garbage, but not the other, then someone else could do the other.
Right. And then, depending on what we get, we would form a contract that included what they were serving. So if we didn't get anybody that did recycling, we'd say, okay, well, we'll hold that. We'll contract for it, but we'll hold that. And then if we have somewhere down the road, we say, okay, well, we have enough interest, let's do another request, we might do that. So it kind of gets that, I know I talked with Eric and I've noted those and we've made those kind of things so that we can address that in the RFP. And then again, when that contract comes, there will be some negotiation with bringing that to council. And if there isn't all of the things that we've addressed, we can make sure that that's there. So.
One thing I'd add is that each contract would be a separate contract. They wouldn't in any way, I know that, if say someone had garbage and somebody had recycling and garbage was required to dump at the Duchesne County landfill because.
That was some of the conversation I had before is that.
Right. I'd like to see the contract be written up specific to its own goods so that there's not kind of this, well, they should be held to the same standard as us,
Which is a question that I have because I've talked to some of the commissioners and when they did the expansion on the landfill over in Duchesne County, part of that was they require all trash or all garbage generated in Duchesne County to go to that landfill. So I just want to make sure that, and I agree, I think the two separate contracts is fantastic, especially if somebody comes along and wants to. I personally feel like recycling, and I'm not an environmentalist, and I'm not some kooky whatever, but I really think we need to be good stewards of our planet, and recycling, I would be all for recycling.
At least provide the opportunity to ourselves.
I'm
exactly.
supporter of the opportunity. If I'm great at it and you're not, or you're great at it and I'm not, or whatever, and somebody says, hey, I really think this would be a great thing. I think being able to have that market and somebody that says, hey, you know what, you're gonna compete in that market, and that's a good thing. I'm probably not as great at sorting it out, so I struggle sorting mine. But I probably could get there, So,
Dean, I saw you twitching just a little bit. Did you have a comment?
Unfortunately. I mean, if you look at the national scheme with China right now. Recycling is having problems because there's not enough producers of goods and this and that. And a lot of the recycled goods in the United States has gone to China for reprocessing. So now they're getting big deals. The only thing I switch maybe is it'd be interesting to see if there's people interested in collecting recycled goods right now, just because of this problem.
Interesting.
But it would allow us to keep that option open.
Yeah.
That's the point. So,
Perfect.
couple other things, 800 South, if you haven't been there in the last, couple weeks, that's been paved. The sidewalk's been completed on both sides. All we really have left is landscaping, just some sod, they had sod or grass, and we're just trying to fix where we've disturbed. And so we're working on that. That'll complete that project. If you haven't been up in the Northeast, we have made progress. There are some roads that aren't there yet, but we are working on it, and we have gotten our contractor out of the way. So I believe Saturday is when we will see that road mill. And so at some point you'll see that there will be a period of time.
It's going to be rotomilled?
Well, most of it's been done. It will actually have a rototiller that will mix in concrete into the material and strengthen it. So.
And that's 300 North?
300 North, yes.
I had a question on 500 or 600 North. It's bare street as well. And somebody's like, well, they took the paver and it's still bare. And I'm like, I don't know. We'll find out.
At that point, we have had a little bit of issue making sure that all the different things were working. It's a new hot plant for this.
Who's the contractor?
The contractor is CKC.
Okay.
And so they had a plant brought in. And so there has been a few plant issues. They were within their time frame.
I know John was, they've been working on that. Yeah, I know they've had a few struggles there.
They're having some, but they're working hard. The ride is very smooth. If you've driven on the roads that have been completed, they're very good ride. We've gotten a lot of good compliments on those that have been completed. We just haven't completed them all, and we're hoping that within the next 2 weeks, we'll see a lot more progress. But once we till it up and put that cement down, it has to cure for 7 days. And so you'll think and say, oh, where do they go? Well, they're still there. The other project they're working on in a time that would be there is Strata. And so they're doing the road out there by the airport, not for Strata. And so anyway, what has been done really well. So it looks good. So, yeah.
One quick question on roads. I had one other just question. I think it's 2020 is when we're planning on the State Street from 800 South North, right?
2022. It was a 5-year out.
Oh, was it 22?
But it does have a couple more years. It was
Gotcha.
a 5-year when we applied, and we're down to it.
We can move that. We can put it on 1 year if we wanted to.
With the.
I'm just saying
If we wanted to fund it and then get reimbursed, what we're going to do is we're going to work with UDOT to see if they can. If they have a project to move it along, UDOT funding.
Too bad we couldn't have got it done with their project going through here in just a few days.
Yeah, UDOT won't actually do it, but they're paying.
No, but I mean,
Yes, I agree.
mobile costs and those types of things.
Would be
We could have
nice,
tag team.
would be nice. So, but that will be coming in a couple of years, so 2022.
Okay.
So anyway, we're looking through it. It's just sometimes that money.
No, I get it.
It takes some time to get.
Somebody had asked, and I thought it was next year, but
Yeah. So if we can, and the state has a project we could convert funds for, we may be able to do something, but we're still in the process of trying. But we're telling people that 2022, right on that, 'cause that's when our money will be available. And then, we did have, because we like the flowers on Main Street. And, trucks broke down this past Monday, yesterday, the day before. And so we just wanted to appreciate all those business owners that kind of helped us. We had to time some of the water. We appreciate the public works stepping up and they had a flush machine that says, yeah, we can utilize this. So it's taken, Parks normally takes care of that, and actually, the Liberton's doing an amazing job of taking care of those. But we've had to kind of patch around it until we can get that truck up. So anyway, we appreciate people's patience, but we are taking care of the flowers. And people probably saw that more today because we were out during the day, and most of it's done when they start like 11 o'clock at night and do it in the middle of the night. So people don't generally see the watering going on, but today they probably did. So other than that, we have the airport Monday, the 22nd. So a week from yesterday, the airport will be closing, and we'll close for the redoing of the runway. So anyway,
How long is that again?
no, I don't want to tell you the wrong number.
That's okay. I was just curious. It doesn't really matter. I'm just wondering how long it's going to be until Bean can fly his plane again. So
I thought it was 70. I thought it was 70.
See?
It's October 22nd.
Yeah,
October 22nd.
there you go.
And that doesn't count the taxiway unless they do them jointly together. If they do them jointly, there's a little extended. If they don't, then they can come back.
I think personally, I feel like it'd be better to do it jointly and then just get it all done out of the way at one
It's
time.
kind of my thought, but the contractor will get to choose either way, whatever works best for them. So
I think they did set that if they got the runway done, that they would reopen the runway. It wouldn't be shut down when they were working on the taxiway.
Oh,
so the taxi could be done with the runway.
great.
Anyway, we are working, one of the other things we've just been working on today, we have up by Cottonwood Loop, we have a line there that had a break in it last fall. We're fixing that and adding a T into the line, so that line has been down today and should be back up. I think it was backed up before we started. So we were managing off of the tank. So anyway, we're working on that. Another thing, you had approved the Johnson Water contract. We are working with Johnson Water in order to make those conversions. We've already converted the airport. We're working on some of the other conversion pieces to convert those.
I saw Paul Chacon down there filling in a line. Was that what he was doing? Okay.
So we wanted to do that before they paved that road, so we weren't picking up.
That's fantastic.
Yep, so, and then we'll have some boring and some other things. We do have a letter going out. Johnson Water was gonna send a letter to those customers in order to let them know what was going on, and we're sending a letter for us to kind of make sure that transition works well for everybody. But overall, it's been positive, so we're
It's a
making
lot.
progress there. So,
Did we sign that contract with Johnson?
I just have to say thanks to Dustin and Dave Labrum for the work that they put in. I mean, that was a lot of long hours for a lot of us for a long time. And just so the public knows, the infrastructure that he's talking about, so there's a certain area within Roosevelt City annexed area that is also in Johnson Water's district, and they decided to transfer over all that infrastructure to Roosevelt City within that area. However, we pay a royalty or a small fee every month to them for each connection in that area. But the way it works out, it's a pretty good thing. And then Roosevelt City has the ability to move and work and do whatever they will in that area without any oversight or any. There was some friction and conflict and contention there, so that's.
So,
Thank you.
I think it's making progress already. We had a good conversation with Dixon about the conversion, Ryan, and some others we're trying to pair up, making sure that goes smoothly for everybody. So, fire conditions, I just make sure it's posted on our Facebook, but just so that you guys are aware as a council, there is a lot of danger fire conditions. The weeds were growing very well in the spring. We had some good rains and that. but now they're starting to dry. So we would just express caution to the public. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at the car show. Don't forget, car show's coming to town on the weekend and.
This weekend?
Yes. So
You'll be
anyway,
in town.
enjoy and have fun. And I will be out of the area next week on vacation. So if I need something, I'll have access to email, but I will be taking vacation. So there you go. That's my report. And
Thank you. Yeah. Perfect. Did anyone have anything else before we adjourn? I don't think we have any need for a closed session meeting.
I was just wondering, the cure time on the runway is obviously more extensive than it will be on my road,
yes.
right? So
Yes.
will we need to stay off of that road for a certain amount of time or?
Well, your road,
Uh-huh.
once it reduces below a temperature, you can get on it, and that by the next day, you'll be able to be on. After they've paid, once that night is gone, it will.
Okay, so stay off of it on Saturday and then,
Well, Saturday will be the treatment, and you'll want to stay off of it. When it's wet, you'll want to stay off that, and it will take all night. That one will take all night. Paving, when paving happens, that's the cold temperature, the cement treatment. When it's dry, they'll let you know. You won't want to drive on that stuff, because that is concrete, it's like driving your car in concrete. If it flips up, you're gonna want to park on the side of the street.
It'll stick to your car.
They usually take and pass out a letter. If they haven't, they probably will this week, so that you have a notice. So I think that's the plan, is Saturday's the plan, as best I know.
for the concrete,
For the concrete.
and then when is the paving?
Another 7 days after, it'll be at least 7 days after. But you can drive on it during that 7 days. It's just, it has to cure underneath. It's just hardening in that. It's that first day when you'll see it, it'll be, cement trucks will come and it'll look like soupy mess. And they'll fill it in and then once it's hardened, you'll know it'll be rock solid. And so anyway,
Just in the past, Ryan, did 600 south between 200, didn't we do that same process? And no.
so 600 south, we did on 600 south, between 200 and 5th. So we've done it there. All of Stonegate was done with this method, and the airport will be done with this method. So it really strengthens that core instead of taking out all of the material.
Guaranteed no potholes, basically is what he's saying.
If there's potholes.
Because
there's
the-
For a
potholes,
month.
because
Well,
that's true, they shouldn't be.
the underlayment is much more solid so that you shouldn't get
You
potholing and
shouldn't
those
get
types of
soft
things.
spots, you shouldn't get some of the problems we've had with some of the roads. This should make it a long-term road. It also will allow, we're planning that at some point, somebody will dig into the road. With a concrete treatment, when they dig into that road and they dig through that, and we have them patched with flowable fill, then we'll have concrete matching concrete and a strong, hard base surface consistent. What had happened before was the material underneath was soft, so when it was broken from the surface, it deteriorated what was underneath, and then we lost a lot of that. But this will help keep a real strong base, even when there's patching. It will create a better patch jobs. It will have them. I mean, we just know.
It's like I said, no potholes. Just kidding.
Not guaranteed, but it should do a lot better.
In the minutes.
Less potholes. Deb, really quick, you had your hand up and then we'll.
I just have a question. So I got a phone call from a company called CGI or something.
Mhm.
Is that what it is, CGI? I'm not sure. But as a business owner, I got a phone call from them and they asked me if I wanted to put an ad on your website that would go around a welcome video or something that they're doing.
They're doing some videos and they would have ads. So some of that, and you might be able to explain this better. But we are having redesign of our website. We're adding some welcome videos. And those welcome videos They approached the city and told us that they would do those videos for the city for free. And so at that point, from a city perspective, we don't get any benefit from advertising. So if you advertise or not, doesn't benefit the city financially for that at all. They are trying to sell, obviously recoup their sales pitches to give us free and then see if they can advertise, but they don't.
Yeah, that's what they said. But my question was, did you guys ask VTV or V6 if they wanted to do that, something like that? As a business owner, I would feel better, because you're essentially paying that company, and they're from New York. And I would feel better if it was, because we have somebody right here that could do that. And so that kind of bothered me a little bit. It's kind of like, why are we using V6 for that? Did you, I just wondered, did you ask them if they
So
wanted
it
to?
wasn't, because it was a free offer and service, it wasn't if we went out to bid or something like that, absolutely, we would have. But it wasn't it was an approach of a free service, and they do it for a lot of cities. That's their specialty, is kind of doing this for their city. So, maybe, what you want to make one?
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about that. So the benefit to us is that this costs zero taxpayer dollars. None of your money is being spent on this at all, which from our perspective, it's really hard to say that a free thing is a bad thing. And it wasn't that we approached this going, hey, we should do a video project, let's find a company somewhere. It was that CGI contacted us specifically, and they work directly with municipalities and county governments all over the nation. That is exclusively what they do. They're partnered with the National League of Cities, with the National Mayors Association, and that is entirely and exclusively what they do. We understand that that's ruffled some feathers with V6 now, which was absolutely not the intention. But as a city where every dollar that we spend comes out of someone else's pocket, when someone says we'll provide this service for you for free, it's really hard to say no to that.
I understand that. I'm just thinking maybe we could ask V6 if they would be interested in this, doing the same thing.
We have discussed this with V6. They are willing to do it for us at a significantly higher cost, which I totally understand. They are a business and they are in the business of making money and supporting their staff. We get it, absolutely we do. And we are working with V6 on some other video projects. We're working with them on an upgrade to our video system in the city council chambers. We're working with them on creating some additional videos going forward. But for this specific project, the benefit to us really was that it was free.
And one of the things too that I found out, and I think VTV, because I spoke with some people at Strata, and they do understand what's happening fairly well, and they understand the process and that. I don't know that I don't know. I looked at the contract. It's a 3-year contract. When that contract comes up, I would definitely like to see that happen, that they provide. I'm not sure that they would charge. See, I think they would follow a similar model as the current company. I'm not sure that they actually, I don't know that they've done that in the past. They were aware that that happens. I don't know that they've done that in the past, but I've been concerned about it too, personally, just because, I understand exactly what you're saying with them being local and those types of things, but I think it's for me, it's a new idea kind of, and I don't know, now that we definitely know it, I want to see that.
Yeah, I mean, just if we're gonna pay for advertising on the city website, which is a little weird in and of itself because we pay taxes, but anyway, but if we're going to, I would much rather pay somebody local that E6 is really trying hard. They're trying to create and establish a really good thing for us out here. And so for me, I was just kind of like, I don't know. I just wanted to see if you guys even approached them to see if they would be willing to do the same thing.
We have a lot of services through Strata. We have gigabyte internet in the building. We have Spectre is our IT source. All of our phones are Verizon.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of what we do is through Strata. So we don't have different services that are providing, cell phone or we have hosted IP service, we have our, internet. Almost everything.
Well, and I think what Deb's saying, and I'm hoping I'm understanding it correctly, is, and because I've heard it, this isn't the first time I've heard this, by the way. So you're at least not the only one. But from the comments of the people in the businesses that I've heard is they want to participate and they love to participate, but they want to see that those dollars are going to a local company. And I think that's very fair. And so I think that's one of the main concerns. And I think it'd be beneficial in the future if we look at VTV and allow them to do that type of service for us. I think we could arrange a similar contract, but I think we would get a little better support or participation just because people know. And I've talked to several different businesses, big and small, that have contacted me. And so that's something definitely, if they get the participation now that they need to do it for us free, I think that's great. But I do feel like there would be even more participation if it was a local company that was providing that service for us. We're going to allow 2 more comments and then we're going to close our meeting because I am done. So
I know it relates to the conversation, but just a quick question on that. Is there an open RFP process for vendors to bid on? Was that covered before? If it's allowing all these vendors to come in and bid, if they're locally or not locally, either one?
you know what, there usually is when it comes to construction and those types of things. We have certain processes that we go through to do that. In this particular instance, I don't know that there was an RFP just because it wasn't really a bid. There wasn't a bid process.
It was a free offer.
Yeah, it was a free,
So it was very hard to say.
It was free to us, not free to.
In some small towns, they target small towns. I kind of actually felt like we were taking advantage of a little bit. Because they target small towns, he said. And in some small towns, there's probably not a VTV or something, but VTV does an excellent job and they're trying so hard to stay above water.
I would like to see, now that we have this, I don't think any of this was anticipated when this company said, we'll do it for free.
It's free. Hey,
I would like to see what Strata would charge or if they would match the offer. And then you have a choice. But we don't have.
And to be completely clear and transparent, when it came, I didn't understand personally. I didn't understand it. It wasn't until now that I understood the relationship between Roosevelt City and CGI, to be honest with you. Before, I had no idea. So this was fairly new to me, and that's something that we'll need to vet out better as a council when we're talking those things through. We had no idea. It's something new, but we just took it for face value, and so we didn't understand.
It sounded great, it's free, whatever, but there's other things that, the other thing is I really don't know if you should limit it to just 20. Like, what if?
See, now I don't even know the terms of what they're trying to.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's something to think about too.
Right.
Just whoever wants to should be able to.
Thanks.
I won't take any more of your time. I just had
No,
some
I
questions
appreciate
about that.
no,
I was like,
and
from
in the
where?
future,
New York?
just FYI, we have a 15-minute comment period at the beginning of our
I
meeting.
thought this started at 6.
Oh,
I gotta
that's
get
funny.
it, Valerie, now.
Thanks,
Not
Deb.
about that, but something.
Did you have a comment, Dean?
Thanks.
Okay, if not, any other?
Just one more comment, Mayor. We need to send a letter to Mr. Huff and invite him back to council meeting now that his road is paved.
Well, by the way, no. Let me explain.
He has
Yes?
cancer and has been treating.
Yeah,
goodness
So
sakes.
if you would keep him in your prayers, that would be helpful. He will
Yeah.
come back and he's.
I've had several conversations with him, and he's doing well. He's responding well to treatment. I saw him yesterday. I think I saw him yesterday, and he said he had a treatment that he had to go to today, so that he wouldn't be able to make the meeting. But this is the last treatment I think he has to go to. So
Well, glad he's getting
should be
treated.
back,
Appreciate you
so.
sharing that with us.
Prayers, we do and some,
Send him a nice letter and let him know we like to see him.
We miss it.
all right, if there's nothing else, would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. We're adjourned. All in favor? Hey, all right.